Have you ever wondered if your niche is too unique to be a podcast guest? My name's Angel Tuccy, and I run the Need a Guest Facebook community. And for the last 5 years, I've been connecting podcast hosts with guests. And I'm here to tell you if you have a unique niche, right? That's what actually makes you extra valuable. There is a wide variety of podcast hosts who are looking for guests. The diversity ranges everything from knitting to nursing to neuroscience and everything in between. It is a myth to think that you have to fit into one of the big three categories of health, wealth, or relationships. There's actually an audience out there who is seeking your story, your uniqueness, your unique niche. And so if you've got something that is pretty specific and narrowed down and you want to leverage the power of podcasting as a guest, I'm here to tell you there is no other platform that gives you the medium, the reach, the connection, the visibility, the searchability, the exposure, the credibility of being a podcast guest. Audiences are listening directly to your voice, so it's the way that you can connect the most deeply with your target audience, and no other platform can create this for you. Podcast listeners tend to take action. 80% tend to take action. So if you've got a lead magnet, a call to action, a freebie, a way to get into your castle, you've got a bigger chance of connecting with them, leveraging the power of podcast guesting than any other medium. Social media can't do this. Advertising doesn't do this. Only podcast guesting. Being a podcast guest is the most valuable marketing platform that actually connects to sales and revenue. And most people think you've got to fit into one of the big three, but it absolutely is not true. Imagine you were standing in a football stadium and you said, if you fit this criteria, stand up, right? Stay standing. If you also have this challenge, stay standing. If you want this solution, right? You're always going to be speaking and sharing your message everywhere. Share your message with everyone, but you're going to always be speaking to your someone in your stories, in the situation, in your solution, and in your call to action. So here's the thing, right? If you think about how you leverage podcast interviews, I'm going to give you 3 tips that you can use if you're wondering, right? How do I make sure that podcast guesting is going to be a great fit for me? Number one, you always want to focus on the problem you solve, your solution, not just your title or category. We have our podcast database divided into categories where podcasters can tell us what category they most likely fit in. But it's a myth to think I can only be if I'm in business. I can only be in a business category or only in a health category. You're going to find your audience is everywhere. Right? And so if you can focus on the problem you solve and not just the title or the category, the world is your oyster and it actually opens up to far more opportunities. I mean, even if you're a dentist and they might not end up in your dental chair, but you're definitely going to position yourself as the expert in the space. You're going to have a broader reach, become a household name in your industry, separate yourself from your competition. I mean, there's so many other things that add value into being a podcast guest. And then of course, having that direct lead magnet is going to bring them back into your castle and into your funnel. Tip number 2, make sure that you draw connections to even bigger themes, right? Leadership, resilience, creativity, success, overcoming breakthroughs, right? If you've got a unique angle of a story, right, or a solution that you provide, make sure that you share that within your podcast interview. And then tip number 3, this is the most important piece. You know, people can find information anywhere, but what they can't find is your personal story, your hero's journey, your breakthrough. So make sure that you're always emphasizing and weaving in your personal story into every podcast interview. Audiences love stories. They can find information everywhere. They'll come for the topic. They might come for the solution or the category, but they stay because they connect deeply and personally with you. So if you've ever thought that your niche is too unique, it's not, right? Your uniqueness is your advantage. It's what helps you stand out. It's what makes you memorable. We have hundreds and hundreds of podcasters who are seeking guests. And if you can reframe it, right, to rethinking of your 3 steps, right, focusing on the problem you solve, connecting to a bigger theme, and making sure that you share your personal story, you can leverage any podcast interview into more direct leads into your sales castle. So I'm Angel Tuccy. We run the Need a Guest Facebook community, a great network for you to connect with podcasters and make sure that you're getting your story out on interviews every single week. If you want to up-level that and have direct access into our media database where we guarantee getting you booked on 2 podcasts every week, make sure you connect with us. Needagaguest.com. Cheers.